Here I am using a Proxmox container to install Nginx and Authentik. Docker is already installed on this machine, so let's start installing. We are grabbing the Docker Compose file from their website and creating the file. Go to the IP address :81. I am not changing default password since this is a test instance, you should change it. Just creating a dummy placeholder for Sonarr. Let's now install Sonarr Docker by the Linux server. The Sonarr web interface is now available on server port 8989. Next we are going to install Authentik. The documentation is available on their website. The Authentik web interface should be now available on server port 9000. Go to the path specified in the documentation to start the setup procedure. If you see a warning about the outpost, just run Docker Compose down and Docker Compose up. Now let's configure a proxy for Authentik in Nginx Proxy Manager. You can enable and use SSL if you wish, just for simplicity I am not using one. The IP should be your IP and port should be 9000. If you are using SSL, change scheme to HTTPS and port to 9443. Update Nginx Proxy Manager and confirm Sonarr is working. The IP should be the IP of the server and port 8989. Now let's configure Sonarr to use Authentik Proxy. Go to Applications. Create an application. I am gonna name it Sonarr and same for the slug. Click Create Provider. Select Type as Proxy Provider and click Next. Name it as Sonarr Proxy. I am selecting Implicit Provider since I don't need an extra prompt before login. Enter external host as sonarr.home.local, home.local which is my domain. Internal host is the server running Sonarr. Click Finish. Select the provider we just added from the list and set the launch URL same as what we have on Nginx Proxy Manager. Go to Outposts and edit the default one, select our application Sonarr from the list, also don't forget to change the Authentik_host same as Authentik URL. Now go to Nginx Proxy Manager and Sonarr's update forward IP and port to the same of the Authentik outpost. Now let's test on a regular window and an incognito window. Since we didn't add any authentication to Sonarr, it's still available on port 9000 on the server. I am gonna add authentication and it will auto restart to apply changes. In order to enable HTTP basic authentication for Sonarr, we need to create a group and set the username and password as attributes and assign our user to the group. Next we need to update the provider to use HTTP basic authentication. Select HTTP basic authentication and fill the two fields as shown in the video. Click Update. Now wait a minute to get the settings applied. Now let's test on an incognito window. The site is also available with authentication the server port. The site is also available with authentication on the server port 8989.